I'm not used to this.
And it's time for me to interrogate Britain's most wanted, apparently.
Like I said, failed father, failed husband, failed workman. I mean, list goes on.
But you know what? I've been following you for a few months, and you've grown in popularity over the last few months. It's been great to see your journey. It's been great to see how a man from East London can, have such resonance across the country. You're meeting me today. You're meeting another guy from Leicester. You've had guys on the podcast from all the way from Northeast, Mr. Rizwan. You've had people from London. You've had people like me from Sheffield. You've got an appeal now, which is across the UK. You're growing into a cult figure. Authorities can't stop you. We had to get the orange changed today because I was fearing for your safety.
Yes, exactly.
From the feminist brigade. But you made it in one piece. Thank you for coming. How are things?
Yeah, no, things are good. Alhamdulillah, things are good. It's been quite a journey, as you know. Obviously, we've spoken a lot off camera. And I've been going through this, as you know, for over 2 years. My journey effectively started, or like I like to say it now, I was unplugged from the Matrix, March the 16th, 2022.
Right, okay. So almost 2 years ago, right?
It's been, almost 2 years. It's way of life now. This is how I live. So when I say way of life and unplugged, what people don't realize, or those that have not gone through this journey, it's hard for them to understand what I'm talking about, maybe what you're talking about, what some of the red pill talk about. Until you lose contact with your kids, you are taken out of your home, your bank accounts, frankly, frozen or violated, you have been disqualified from society automatically. So it's a disqualification out of life. Hence, that's why I created Disqualified Dads. As a father, as a man in this country, relationship breaks down, you are disqualified out of society.
So, it seems to be the prevailing narrative here that whenever a relationship breaks down, the man's at fault. And he has to then prove himself innocent. And for you, proving yourself innocent, taking 2 years. But that's 2 years away from society, away from a place of residence, away from, most importantly, your children. How's that been for you for the last 2 years?
I think as a parent, I'll use the word parent, so not father or mother, but as a parent, you can never imagine being separated from your child as a parent. And when you've spent time, say, in a long-term relationship, a marriage, 5 years, 6 years, 8 years, 10 years, you've seen that child from a baby, you've raised it, you've seen them grow, those memories, those moments. You can never envisage them not being in your life. You can never imagine not seeing them. Now, what people don't realize is we live in like relative comfort here in the West, all the Western countries, but 10 men a day post-separation are committing suicide. Now, if we look at what's going on in other parts of the world and how terrifying and horrible these situations are, and we can't even imagine it really, So how is it that in this society we are surrounded by food, water, shelter, relative comfort, but people are making logical decisions to say, you know what?
Not worth it.
It's not worth it. I don't want to be here. Can you imagine the turmoil going on internally for someone to come to that conclusion in this so-called relative democracy?
Exactly.
And in our community, in the Muslim community, the only thing stopping this suicide epidemic affecting the Muslim community, because it is a big sin. Otherwise, I think it's just a matter of time before we hear of some young man unfortunately taking his own life. And only then I think maybe the community will wake up when they lose a son. That's what I'll say. And you got to understand that. You can never imagine losing your child. It's something unimaginable. Now, the excruciating pain that you go through on a daily cycle, we're thinking about your kids, their innocent little faces, then you think you've let them down. You go through the humiliation as a man to know that there's nothing you can do. Your child has been taken away from you. You're scared for them. You want to protect them. And as a man, there's absolutely nothing you can do. So you're fighting those demons. You're fighting the pain itself of the lost contact. And it is a very difficult, and a lot of fathers unfortunately don't make it. They give up. They, like you said, they get out of shape. They don't care. It's irrelevant. When people then come out with the old classic line, And I think I don't blame people because they don't know what to say. What do you say to someone like that? When they grow up, they'll come and see you, they'll find you, all of this. To a certain degree, and look, I don't want to be negative, but there is a fairy tale element to that. You know, parental alienation is very damaging. It can last a lifetime. So it's a very difficult road, very difficult road.
No, absolutely. And you mentioned their road. You're on the road a lot of the time. You're traveling up and down the country. And one of the things which people don't see the other side of is not only the custody of the children, the custody and access to assets that the woman invariably gets. And then we talk about women's aid, shelter for women. But you know how many spaces there are for men in the country to seek? There's less than 100, right?
Less, I would say you'd be lucky to find one.
Exactly.
You'd be lucky to find one. You'd be lucky to get a place. That's why I think 90% of homeless are men.
Oh, man, yeah.